Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Hang on, let me turn the racket off. Peace. That's better. Right. Last night's show. Not show. Come on. So I've been on my feet and walking all day long. I am absolutely cream crackered, but well worth it. Oh, that's another subject. I'll do that in a bit. But the Orchid Society meeting last night, very, very low numbers. Two reasons. Some people just don't like AGMs, but ours is done as fast as possible. And then we have quite a bit of fun for the rest of the evening, including an auction and various other things, sort of thing. So it's not just boring voting and hands up and proposers and seconders and all that cobblers. We get it over pretty quick. So that was good. But in the end, I took two plants in. I took in the wedding bells, which is still sat down there. I haven't got round to sorting that out yet. Oh, I have to excuse the foggers. I'm not turning those off. It's too much hassle. So I took wedding bells in. And if you remember the last meeting I went to, I took in the Dendrobium nester that was in full swing at the time and the Hercoglossum. Well, the Hercoglossum has still got some buds unopened, but obviously the number of blooms on here now is right down in low numbers. But it's going to continue flowering for a while. You know, as I say, there's still some buds just opening. So, you know, it's still got another week or so, maybe 2 weeks. In fact, there's some very tiny buds up there. Anyway, so I took wedding bells in and I took the Dendrobium friedrichianum. The last time when I took Nesta in, Nesta got a second and the Hercoglossum got a first. You get a certificate if you get a first, which is very nice. And the chairman noted, he said, right, you are properly certificated now, with a wry smile on his face. And they were both sort of pinkish. So two dendrobiums and both pinkish. He obviously made a note of that in his mind, because when I turned up with wedding bells and friedrichianum, he said, do all your dendrobiums come as twin sets? Because you've now got two and they're both yellow. And I thought, well, it's just coincidence. That's how they open. I'm not in control of it. But basically, wedding bells got a second, and 1 point higher, friedrichianum got a first. So we have another one of those to stick on the wall. I'm going to have to move my calendar now. I'm running out of room on the wall. But then at the end, because I'm in the open class, what some societies call the amateur class, and then we have an expert class. Basically, you can get shoved in there if you get too many of those. So I might have to ease off a bit and go under the radar for a while, because if I get shoved in the next section, the expert section, my plants are probably not going to make much of themselves in comparison with the difference in the plant's qualities between the two sections. I like it where I am, in with the rabble. Anyway, so Friedrichianum got a first, and then right at the end of the all the announcements and everything like that, and people going up and get their certificates and things like that, the chairman said, and now we've got a special award. We've got an award of cultural excellence, which is very rarely awarded because it means you get 36 or more points out of 40 for a single plant, which is pretty difficult. And what one looks like is that. So Dendrobium hercoglossum got an award of excellent for 36 out of 40 points. And several people on the committee and, you know, things like that, and to do with the points competition, said that even in pictures they hadn't seen one as good as that. So I don't know what they're going to make of it next year when all its new growths come out. I hope it does as well next year. But anyway, I hadn't actually seen one of those before, so it's pretty good stuff. You actually get your name on it. On the normal point certificates, they're just handouts. you know, a memento. You don't get the plant name, you don't get your name, you just get the certificate. But on these, you get your name on there, you get the date, you get the plant name, the number of points you got, and the chairman signs it. Probably pre-printed, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so I was over the moon with that. That's special. I mean, I've been going to that Orchid Society a lot of years now, and quite honestly, these are not handed out lightly. The way they score the plants, I mean, I can remember a few people at that point in meetings going up and getting these over the years. So to get one of those is pretty damn special. But then the plant was pretty damn special, wasn't it? It's not me that's getting the award, really, it's the plant. Okay, I water it and feed it, but it's the plant that did well. But yeah, over the moon with that. So let's put them to one side. I mean, they're all laminated and everything, so they don't get grubby. That's a big one too. That's going to take up a lot of wall space. I also got some plants, and I'm desperately scanning the room trying to find out what the hell I've done with them. They're in here somewhere. There they are. Ugh. So I got back late last night, and I was tired, so I didn't do much. I just plonked everything down and went to bed, basically. But I bid on these in the auction, and basically I only really wanted one of these plants. I didn't want all three, but they came as a lot. You know, you bid on the lot, or you don't bid at all. And it was the Zygopetalum I wanted. Seen pictures of this one. I like this one. It's an awarded zygo. That's the actual plant. It doesn't look too bad at all. It's got a lovely strong new growth coming out. Again, this is the guy who's downsizing. And then we've got an epidendrum, which I've never heard of, but you know, it's obviously a hybrid with a name like Mabel Canda. That doesn't look like an excellent plant, but it also looks like it's two, really. It's headed off in two directions, and the bit in the middle is of no use whatsoever. And I don't see any signs of new roots in there, but just the way the pot looks to me, I think it needs to come out of that pot and probably be split. Both bits can go back in some new media, but that's what I'll probably do with that one. So that's an epidendrum. And then this one is quite well known. Obviously it's a young division, but it has got a new growth coming on it. But the way that's wobbling in the pot, I don't think it's got a huge amount of root system underneath it. But what I will probably do, as it's got to be a reasonably recent division just by looking at it. You know, it had a new growth at the time it was probably divided, which has grown up and matured and did actually bloom at some point. Whether that was when it was still attached or after it was separated, I don't know. But it now has another new growth. So I don't believe it's been in that pot too long, and I think it will be better to leave it in that pot until my little new growth at the bottom starts to show some new roots, and then actually deal with it. But that's Odontodia Peggy Ruth Carpenter, and it's the variety Morning Glory. I know I like Peggy Ruth Carpenter. The fact that it's a named version of that is more likely to just be a little bit better than the normal one. That's what normally happens. Yeah, so 3 new plants. So some repotting to do, I would say virtually immediately. So that can just go on the list for, you know, as soon as I get round to it. This one I'm not sure. I'm going to try and just gently ease that one out of the pot and see what's going on. But as a trait of that grower, any plant that he's had that's been in a pot for a while, you can guarantee will be covered in live moss. But it has got a nice new growth on it, but I'd like to see what's underneath it. So I'll tease that out of the pot, trying not to disturb it, and that one I'll leave in the pot. So there we go then, a few awards, and an announcement that it's our, what did he say, 50th anniversary, something like that, since the Orchid Society was founded, and they're going to put on a do, and no details as yet, apart from the fact they're planning on it being a 2-day event. Now that either means travelling on both days, or knowing this lot, they're a wealthy lot, not like me, you know, pauper. It's probably going to be some sort of hotel do, you know, with a stopover. And, you know, we do something on day one, all have a meal together and, you know, a tiny glass of wine, something like that. You know, we don't want to go too mad as a group. Yeah, believe that. And then probably an orchid related thing the next day. But yeah, details to be announced. That could be fun, because you know there is a bit of formality within the Orchid Society. But the chairman, he said, you know, once upon a time, this was like suit and tie and posh frocks for ordinary meetings, and everybody was Mr. So-and-so and Mrs. So-and-so. You didn't use people's first names. Apparently it was incredibly formal, and obviously he was part of it in those days, and he loves it now. You know, people just turn up from work in their shorts and dirty shoes, and, you know, everybody comes how they choose to be, you know, and it's friendly, it's good. And he's over the moon that it's gone like that, because although he was part of the formality, he likes it now it's relaxed and friendly. And quite honestly, from my point of view, it's a good job it is like that, because if it was all formal, you know, I only wear a tie on 2 occasions, our Christmas do and weddings and funerals. I don't wear a shirt and tie, it's not what I do. Anyway, so that's the results of last night's show. I've done an orchid walk today, 4 target orchids, all found, but then it was a guided tour. Quite honestly, I'll let you into a secret. I got there a long time before the organised walk, and I'd already found 3 of the 4 and filmed everything prior to the others even turning up. And I got a lovely little giggle for you where the 4th one was. I've filmed it because it's just so stupid, you cannot believe it. But anyway, I found all 4 orchids, and I was well pleased, because all 4 of those I've never seen before, and 2 of them I never thought I would. So to find them all in one place was absolutely brilliant. So I've got all the clips and some stills and everything. I've got to join it all together, and I might actually do that one differently, because normally when I do my walks I just leave the soundtrack sat there, you know, the wind blowing and the birds singing and stuff. But on this one I might actually record a voiceover soundtrack to go with it, because there's quite a bit to say about those orchids. There really is some very interesting stuff. So I'll get that put together, and that will probably go up, well, either later this evening, but more likely to be tomorrow. And then I've got to get back out here tomorrow. There's some stuff here gasping for water. We had an incredibly hot day yesterday, and today we haven't. You know, the weather forecast was dull in the morning. We had thunderstorms and lightning most of the night. But then they said, you know, dull in the morning, but it should brighten up by lunchtime. Well, I've been looking out of the window and I've been outdoors since 5 o'clock this morning, and I haven't seen the sun yet, you know. So, yeah, they can be wrong. And I think that would now be classed as open. That's it, I think. That little bit goes pop. And that's it. I don't know whether there's more to happen. I can't remember what these blooms look like. But it looks like it's doing something. One other bit of news. The Stinky, the flower spikes died. It's finished, and it didn't stink. But as I suspected, whoops, knocked the camera about, look what it's done to that pseudo bulb. It's totally drained it. I thought it might. To be nice to the pseudo bulb and the potential for new growth, I should have just taken that flower spike off. But it's done now, it's too late. So I will take the flower spike off now, and then hopefully there's enough left to get a new growth going. We shall see. But yeah, so I got away with not having the stink. It's just keeled over. I mean, it's not lack of water or anything. It's been watered, but it is really because it's lack of roots. You know, it's all very well having a nice moist media, but if you've got no roots to take it up, then, you know, it's dehydration involved. But yeah, that's gone. So I'll sort that out tomorrow while I'm going round, because there's things in here dying of thirst, and then I'll have a look round tomorrow and see what's going on. So I'll see you later. Thanks for dropping by. Pleased with my cultural award, dead pleased. See you again next time.